Hi, I hope you're doing well. I'm back again to talk about July 2024, some things that I'm looking at, and some overall themes that we can be looking at for the month as we go through. It's an interesting month, as I always say. I mean, that's my favorite word. Everything is interesting, but it is kind of interesting because we do have a pretty big shift happening sort of around mid-month, and that's going to be when we have the nodal change. We are going to be moving from the north node in the gate 21 and the south node in the gate 48 to the north node in the gate 17 and the south node in the gate 18. And that's going to be happening on July 20th. So I'm going to focus on that first, and then we'll sort of move into just a few other themes that I have. I will also have a new moon video that's going to be coming up soon in a day or so because it's very early in the month. So we're moving from the gate 21, the gate 48 in the nodes now. And there is a lot of connection because we still have logical energy that we're moving into. And now we're having pure logical energy as opposed to having the control or the sort of half the money line of the tribe. And now we're getting rid of the tribal energy altogether and sticking with logic. This is a very, very important energy for correction. And, I'm not looking at it from the perspective of people, we're looking at it from the perspective of an environmental aura. So this is energy. So you would describe it in a different way. And so what we see when we have the nodal shift into the 17 and 18 is that there are issues with humanity. There are things in the collective that need to be repaired. There are things that need to be shifted. The pattern is not secure for the future. And so there is a need for correction. So if you look at the gate 18, that is called work on what is spoiled. And that basically is saying there are things in life that we cannot correct, but then there are things that we can. And so this is where we decide to say, okay, we can correct this, or this needs to be corrected, and this is, we can improve on it, or this one needs to be thrown out completely and we have to start all over again. So that's kind of the decisions that we're sort of doing with the gate 18. We're making those decisions, and then it moves into the gate 48 because the nodes are retrograding. The node is going to we're sort of getting the well of the gate 48, and then we get the 18. Ultimately, it is really saying that, as I said, humanity is in a situation where we need improvement. When we have the gate 18 as an environmental factor, we're really talking about the idea that people do not have human rights. They do not have what they need. And so, what this brings as an overall aura is this idea of a lot of focus looking at the issues that people are having around the world. Who are the disenfranchised? Who are the people that are not being respected? Who are the people who are suffering? And who are the people who need to be given the rights of human rights, as everybody should have? These are the things that we might hear a lot of conversations about. How can we improve things? And then we can take it into sort of a microcosm of in your own environment. You're looking at your life and you're saying, okay, what can I improve in my life? And what things need to be tossed out completely? And how can I have a better experience in life? This really does feed nicely into the concept that we are going to be in the mid of the human design year, which means that we've gone through all the gates of the mandala and now we're starting over again. But now instead of the sun being in the gates, the earth is in the gates. So if we begin the human design year, we begin it with the sun in the gate 41 and the earth in the gate 31. Now on July 24th, we begin with the sun in the gate 31 and the earth in the gate 41. And really what that's talking about is it is a reflection of what's happened in the first 6 months of the human design year, or even if you wanted to use January 1st as your new year, it's pretty close anyhow. It's basically saying you had dreams, goals, things that you wanted to do in your life. How is that looking? Are there things that you want to shift and change? And so, with this background frequency of the 17 and 18, it is talking about this concept of being able to look at what needs to be corrected in your life and sort of moving forward with that. And this is also the month where we're going to be finishing up on the quarter of civilization, and we're moving into the quarter of duality. We'll start on August 5th. And so what's happening is right now, it is a lot about reflections, cycles, things like that. And with Chiron in the background in the gate 42, it is talking about maximizing cycles. It's talking about sort of getting the most you can out of something. It is talking about building on a cycle that you have already, building on the foundation, or it is talking about the closure of a cycle. And of course, we know that the ultimate end of a cycle is when we pass away or when we die. And so those are the themes. So then we have Chiron that is wrapped around all of this. And I talked about this with the full moon. It really is this idea of maybe you're having some closures or endings or things that are sort of moving out of your life that maybe you didn't want to move out of your life. But on the other hand, it is good because it does end a cycle and begin a new cycle. And one thing that Ra Uru said a lot about cycles was that it was like he talked a lot about 7-year cycles. And I do totally believe that we do have the 7-year cycles. And he's not the only person that's ever said anything about 7-year cycles. It may not be a 7-year cycle that is closing for you. It may be, but no matter what, if you look at the month of July, other than sort of the beginning of July from the 1st until basically the 7th, we have so much abstract energy. And abstract energy is always talking about cycles. It's always talking about experiencing life. It's always talking about the real part of living. And so this is really looking at, we have these ideas, we make plans, and that's a lot of logic. We have this support that we want. We have our individual needs. And then we also have this idea of going out into the world and being in the world and doing the things that we do in the world, whatever that is. Some people will be going on vacation. Some people will be having trips. Some people will be spending some time with family, having barbecues. If you're in sort of the Northern Hemisphere, all those types of things. And so you're having the experiences of life, and it is about, again, reflection will be the end of the cycle of civilization, which I think is, and that's the gate 33, and it really is a beautiful closure. So a lot of this month is pointing at this idea of cycles, ending cycles, beginning cycles, things that are sort of have hit their limit. And from a personal perspective, we have the gate 41 and the gate 31. This is bringing back this idea of, if you want to be a leader in your life, what do you need to trim? Because the gate 41 is also called decrease. It is a time where we trim back all the things that don't work anymore. I always like to say it's like pruning a tree, where you're getting rid of all the old growth that doesn't grow anymore, get rid of it all, and so we can have new growth. And that's really what it's saying. What doesn't work anymore? What can you trim back from your life so that in the future you can have more growth? It's like this idea of, if you have such a fullness of everything, everything's full, and you try and bring more into your life, there's no space for it. And so this is making space for something new to come into your life. So it's making space for something new in your life. And what that is for you will be very specific. And we're all going to have a different concept of what we want to decrease in our life so that we can eventually have more growth. We will still have the 1648 channel in play till July 15th. That's when Jupiter will move into the gate 35 and bringing even more abstract energy to the collective, as well as the sun and the earth as we move through. And if you look at, for instance, where we do begin the second half of the Human Design New Year, and that's going to be, as I said, July 24th, there's a perspective of, you have the sun in the gate 31 and you have the earth in the gate 41. And so what we're melding together, because oppositions always come together, sort of the energies are melding in some way, we're really talking about being a leader and how you are a leader to reach your goals. This can be from a global perspective, especially when we get into the 17 and 18 nodes, really taking a hard look at the leaders in this world, because the gate 17 is one of those phrases that says those who wish to lead must first learn how to serve. And is that happening? Are the leaders serving themselves, or are they serving the people? And those are the big questions that will be asked, because logic is all about asking those types of questions. Ultimately, you want to have a secure future. And that's sort of what a lot of energy is going to be put into. So if you mix this new beginning of the second half of the year with all the cycles, and then you also have the logical energy, it is really a great time to start to hammer into some ideas of things you want to shift. So, with that said, I hope you have a wonderful month ahead, and I will be back again soon. Until then, take care and bye for now.